Welcome back to the show. Mark Carney helped create this mess. So now we're asking, why should Canadians trust him to fix it? Let's break it down. Anthony, Mark Carney has had his hand in the design of many of these policies, especially the economic policies. So why should Canadians trust him to fix the mess that he's part of creating?
I want to know what policies he had his hand in.
Well, he was basically an economic advisor with Trudeau for the last 4 years. Officially, you'd say, maybe the last year or so, but there is news trackings and media trackings of him being involved since 2020. So pretty much everything you have to say as an economic advisor, he had his hand in. And I know you'll say, well, that doesn't mean he's actually going to do it. You gave me a real estate analogy last time, which I can appreciate, but he's still involved. He's still helping move the needle in this party. Why would it be any different now?
Let's go back to the week before Christmas when the finance minister resigned. Why did Chrystia Freeland resign her post? Severe disagreements with the prime minister. Complete disagreement. And she walked away. Why? I don't think Justin Trudeau is somebody that's going to listen to all of his advisors. That's not his inner circle. And Carney was not his inner circle.
I think that the party was going down in flames, and she made a decision to back out because she knew it was going to wreck her political career, which it did anyway, and she didn't want to fall on the sword because what Trudeau's done repeatedly is make other people fall on the sword.
I just don't think he's the kind of person that's going to say, yes, I have these advisors, and I'm going to listen to every single person intently and 100%.
I don't think every single person, but the thing is, he obviously did enough in the party to now be the leader, and you saw him win 86% of the vote. So obviously he had support and respect within the party. So you're listening to that guy. Yeah. She got a single-digit percentage.
We were courting, the Liberal Party has been courting Mark Carney since 2017 to run in an election. In 2019, they wanted him to run. So they've been begging him to join, and he stepped up to serve his country, and that's what he's done.
So it's easy to argue that they'd listen to him and they'd respect him. And also Trudeau, not to throw shade at the guy, but he does not really have the track record to understand economics that well.
And that's a fair point because he's the one that said it on the news. But I don't think that Mark Carney is somebody that was pressuring Justin Trudeau to increase the carbon tax and do all those things. He was a proponent of freezing it. That's in the newspaper. And now he's the first prime minister since it came into fruition to bring it down to zero. That's a tax cut all its own.
He's been a huge fan of carbon tax vocally, except now he turned it down because it's politically favorable.
I don't think it's politically favorable.
100% it is.
I think
every Canadian hated it.
I think Mark Carney, I didn't hate it. I think Mark Carney recognizes the economic times we're in. I am Canadian. I'm a dual citizen with Italy. Am I allowed to run for prime minister?
That's awesome.
Uh-oh. He's got ties to Italy. No, I'm just kidding. So I think Mark Carney recognizes the economic times we're in. It was a divisive subject, and that's for lack of communication on our part of why it was so divisive. He recognized it. He brought it down to zero. He accomplished his mission.
Okay, so basically you're saying that he was ineffective as an advisor because no one listened to him, but now he's going to be different.
I didn't say he was ineffective as an advisor.
Well, basically you are, though.
Well,
if you're advising someone and nothing's getting done from what you're suggesting,
but you're trying to spin the question to say that this guy designed all the policies.
I'm saying he had his hand in it, so why should they trust him to fix it?
I have my hand in a lot of things. Do people listen to what I say? My parents have never listened to me in 35 years, and I've never listened to them.
You're not running the country.
My household is like a country. It's my country.
Okay, I feel like we're hitting a dead end here. Yeah. Now let's jump into Carney and his ties to green energy and the carbon markets.
Sure.
How do Canadians know that they'll put their interests first when he stands to personally profit from these climate policies, which we know he does through Brookfield?
We're just talking about Energy East. Talking about Energy East, and he is the first prime minister to get Quebec, François Legault open to building a pipeline, potentially. That is...
Potentially, because the other day he just campaigned on saying not a chance.
But
that was Blanchet.
So Blanchet and Legault are two different people, by the way. Blanchet is a political party within Quebec.
I understand this,
Legault is running the province.
When you see division within the province from federal to provincial, good luck making that happen.
Yeah, well, so first of all, the Bloc Québécois, they have no votes outside of Quebec, so they're meaningless at the end of the day, in my opinion. And the reason why they were ever the official opposition was because the Conservatives collapsed in 1993. François Legault went from saying hell no to yes, we'll consider it, because now they understand the importance of getting off of foreign oil, and we have a plethora of resources in our own country.
But you're still sort of dodging the question. He's deeply tied into he's got money in green energy. Yeah. How do we know that he's not going to push these things to benefit himself?
Because I think the premise of the question is wrong. Why is this country hell-bent on one or the other? I think Canadians are sick and tired of these divides in this country of
no. I got to stop you right there. No, you can't, because the thing is he's going to keep the oil and gas cap in place, which is going to absolutely decimate the economy. So how can you say he's pro-energy and he's going to go oil and gas, and then he also implements this gas cap? And now I'm arguing, hey, then he's going to try to make money off green energy, because it is one or the other in that case.
I don't think the oil and gas cap is going to stick, and this is just my speculation based on what happens after the election. I think that that's going to go, and it's going to have to if we're going to meet these commitments. So this is something that, to your point, they're going to have to be truthful about, whether it's during the election or after the election. We don't know who's going to win, by the way. I'm wearing a friggin' blue jacket.
Yeah,
we don't know who's going to be winning this election, okay?
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. But at the end of the day, if it would be popular with Canadians, and like you said, the Liberals have to sort of shift their policy.
Yeah.
It would be popular to say, hey, we are cutting the oil and gas cap because that's what makes sense for the country. And it would also get them out of this deep water with this green agenda.
So how about this? I don't think Canadians are throwing away their commitment to fighting climate change because they hate the carbon tax. This has been polled since the 1990s. How much would you pay out of your paycheck to fix the environment? Guess what the
$0.
Yeah, no.
We'll finish this when we get back.
Finish when you come back.
We'll talk to you
I got the real number for you.